Welcome to Politics Done Right. I am your host, Egberto Willies. This is a progressive program that will take the mystery out of politics. This is the program that will encourage you to make sure government becomes we the people. Whether you are liberal, progressive, conservative, or otherwise, you get to air your point of view. We are an independent media outlet that, unlike mainstream media beholden to corporations, we only owe allegiance to you. Remember, you can also send me a tweet at EGBERTOWILLIES. That is at Egberto Willies. Let us engage. It is Politics Done Right. Well, folks, welcome to one more edition of Politics Done Right. I'm Egberto Willies, your host. Thank you so kind of being part of the show. We are going to have a great show for you today. How are you guys doing? I hope all's going fine. Welcome aboard. Hooray. Joe says Substack is always slower than YouTube, but hello. Yeah, Joe, it is slower. I think they have some buffering and all that kind of stuff. Anyway, what can I say? Joe from Los Angeles, California. We also have Joe Scott Wren Jr. Why do you have Eugene as a question mark? Are you in Eugene, or what is it about Eugene, my dear Jay Scott? Vicky L. Reed, ¿cómo estás? How you doing? And of course, in the other chat, we've got Paul Fleming from Powder Springs, Georgia. Yvette Avery Herod from Atlanta, Georgia. Joe from Los Angeles, California. We have Paul Fleming from Powder Springs. Oh, I called you already, Powder Springs, Georgia. That's why I got confused. Lee the Bearcat from Austin, Texas. We have E2247 from all over. AVQ is in the house. He said, I'm way too distracted today. What's distracting you, my dear brother AVQ? We also have in the house Carl Cox from Riversdale, Georgia. We have, what is that? Kahala Ringo. Welcome aboard. I don't think I've seen that name before, but thank you all for being here. We're going to have a great show. Anyway, I want to start off with something kind of interesting, man. Let's see. I think I played the capitalism video for you guys before. I don't think I played the Amanda Edwards video. I played that this morning, but I want to play it again because what I want to point out is that we need to get. Actually, you know what? I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that video here because that is more Houston based, and most of our folks that are here right now are not Houston based. So I'm not going to go ahead and do that one right now. So let me go ahead and bring the other two videos that I want to get to you guys into the fold. If I can get to my clips, that's my former MAGA. And the other clip is going to be the one that I synthesized from a thing I did this morning about who the real target of Trump's gulags are. All right, March KJ, welcome aboard. Robin Morrison, welcome aboard. E2247 says Ranch Tank spoke publicly yesterday in Congress. ICE officer training is deficient and broken. Former agency lawyer tells Congress. Yeah, he's a whistleblower. And he went ahead and told a few truths that many people didn't want to hear. Carl Cox says left isn't mad at USA winning gold medals. Right wing lie. Okay, let's see. What is that Bearcat says now? 2026 U.S. Olympic hockey teams dual gold medal wins are being celebrated as a display of American exceptionalism. Why? Why is winning a game something that makes you exceptional? So when you lose the game, which we have been losing the hockey games for decades, does that mean we're not exceptional when we lose the game? Marking the men's and women's first title since 1980 until a dormant performance. First of all, I don't believe in exceptionalism. Let me just tell you that, okay? Who believes in American exceptionalism? I think that is so conceited. I think that is so. I think that is such a terrible term. Except we are the exceptional one. Really? What makes you exceptional? I tell you what, anybody who thinks we are so exceptional, give me a call. 281-823-7747. I think America is filled with people that are exceptional, but I also think Nigeria is filled with people that are exceptional. I think Colombia is filled with people that are exceptional. But please tell me, what inherently makes America the country exceptional? For everything that you call out that you claim makes America exceptional, I could have a foreigner tell us a few things. We are exceptional because of our freedom. Yet you've had Jim Crow slavery and the putting away the Japanese, etc. Okay. We are a peaceful country. We are an honorable country. Yet we were the only country that dropped the atomic bomb, the nuclear bomb on human beings, while we run around the country trying to stop others from building it themselves, right? We are an exceptional country because we believe in freedom. Yet we've supported Somoza, right? We supported Manuel Antonio Noriega until he defied us. We supported Baby Doc, Papa Doc. Those are the dictators of Haiti, Nicaragua, and um, and these are the places people who really kill people. So let's be careful. America is made up of a lot of exceptional people, but many countries are made up of a lot of exceptional people. The idea that people want to that that 5% of the world is the exceptional ones, and the rest of the world isn't somehow, that defies math, right? It completely defies math because if the rest of the world represents 95% of the population, don't you think there's a chance that you have a hell of a lot more exceptionalism around the world? I'm not saying on an individual country, but around the world than just sit down and pat yourself on the back and say, we're exceptional. All right. Most of us only speak one language, English. You go any other place in the world, they speak English, French, patois, and all these other languages. Are they exceptional for being multilingual? You go to some place like France and you have people that are speaking five languages. I think that is exceptional. Do you think somebody who said speak English, this is America, this is America, speak English? Do you think that is exceptional? Do you think it is exceptional to beat people up in the street and shoot people? Welcome aboard, LBW. La Profesora is in the house. Look, what I just said is not anti America, it is realistic, it is truth. We have to get off this bandwagon about we are so exceptional. You can say that we are bullies and you can say that we can push people around because we have the power to do so. But please get over it. Get over it. Let's see. Shahid Khan came from Pakistan with $500 at age 16. Worked $1 into dishwashing to now worth 13 billion. What is that saying? Don't you think other people in other countries stayed home and did it? Let me give you an alternative story. There are people who have made billions in China and they stayed home to do it, right? Maybe Mr. Shahid Khan couldn't do it in his own country, came over here, and because what we do is we have an economic system that allows you to profit off of somebody else. And since he had no problem doing that, he was able to amass that $13 billion because nobody can earn $13 billion. I want you to think about that, Mister, before you make statements like that, Leader Bearcat. That is saying that Khan know how to come over to the America and enslave the Americans to make that money. So be careful what you're saying and what you decide to call exceptional, because I don't see that as exceptional at all. I don't see it as exceptional at all. So let's be clear here. Now, no, you don't make $13 billion on your own. It is mathematically impossible for you to make $13 billion on your own. It's it is only an enslaved mind can think that somebody can. Let me give it. Let me give an example. I created a product called ComDRV. All right, and that product, when the PC got invented, it got invented with a specific flaw, and the specific flaw had to do with the serial port. Okay, the serial port could not produce what's known as an interrupt on transmission. All right, and because of that, if you wanted to if you wanted to control some device, let's say what's known as a RS-485 device that needed to control the direction of a bus, you had to buy an additional card to put into your PC to do it. Well, after sleeping on it for several days, maybe weeks, I don't know, I came up with a hell of an idea. After I looked at the hardware on the PC, I said, hey, I can use software to get around that hardware problem that people used to be buying hardware for. And I invented an algorithm that simulated what was being done in hardware. And big companies bought it off. Uh, Boeing and certain companies that did projects for NASA did it. I had two options. I could follow the Bezos rule, right? What Bezos did, I'll tell you the Bezos story in a little bit. But what I want to show you is how evil capitalism is. So I came up with this idea on how to drop this signal known as an RTS signal in software and automatically in the background recover it so that you could transmit data and turn the bus around. And I just sold my software to Boeing at a fair price, and they bought it. And I remember when they wanted an unlimited license, I gave them I gave them a number. I just pulled a number out of the air and gave it to them, and they said okay. And I was like, damn, that is amazing. And they just bought it. But I realized that the people that were actually going to pay that price for what I sold it to them for wasn't Boeing. It was everybody who bought a ticket on a Boeing airline. And I started feeling guilty. So I never sold it like that before again, right? But that's what these billionaires do. I'll tell you, I'll equate that to brother Bill Gates. But anyhow, so I never became a millionaire or a billionaire off of my invention. I didn't license it. I didn't patent it. I simply copyrighted the application itself. Now, here is what Bezos did. And you guys can look this up. Everything that I tell you guys are factual. I want to show you the flaws in our economic system. Now, Bezos, when he created the Amazon store, not he, when his engineers created the Amazon store, they wanted to corner the market. So what did they do? They, and by the way, software is not supposed to be patented, okay? But somehow they got away with it. They went ahead and patented something called one click. When you go and buy stuff at Amazon, you can see there is a one click button, right? So they went ahead, and I don't think it can patent it anymore. 17 years has passed, right? So it fell out of patent. But they went ahead and patent this stuff, right? One click. My first commercial project that I wanted to build was a shopping cart. The software I wanted to build after my communication software with Daniel, I mean with NASA actually, it was with NASA, was uh, a shopping cart because I started to see that It was in the early days of online shopping and all of that. And, I did it. So when I did a search, I realized that I couldn't create a one click product because Bezos patented one click. For all of you doubters who think I pulled this crap out of the air, just look up Jeff Bezos, Amazon, one click. So I couldn't develop that program because they cornered the market. Let me give another example. And that's how he cornered the market, allowed him to manipulate the market and get rich on that platform. Suppose I had said that me controlling the RTS signal on that board, I was the sole person who could do that. Then every single computer on this planet, because I patented it, and remember, it's a patent now. Whether you ask me or whatever, I own that patent. Everybody would have to give me a piece of the action. And then I would be a multimillionaire easily. Right? But I didn't take that path. That just didn't compute in my head. I didn't work for that. Right? I didn't earn that. It's just happenstance. Right? Let's go to Bill Gates. Bill Gates is a billionaire. Oh, these tech bros earned it, right? Hell no. When the PC was coming out, the computer, the first personal computer was coming out, he had inside information to understand that IBM was coming out with the PC. IBM did not think the PC was going to be as big as it turned out to be. So Bill Gates runs to Seattle. There's a company who had a crude operating system for the 8088, the 8080, and that family of microprocessors. And he just goes to them and says, "Oh, I'd like to buy that from you." And because Bill Gates had what called capital, he had money. So if you have capital, you can build on capital, right? So what did he do? He went ahead and he bought the software from that Seattle company who, after he gave them $50,000, that's it. Finito, no more. That's all they get from their invention. Then he goes to IBM and tell IBM, okay, I got an operating system and I can create BASIC for your new computer. And IBM says, okay, we don't think this is going to take off at big time anyway. So we don't want to invest in a whole team to create an operating system and all these platforms. So we'll just, okay, Bill Gates, give me the operating system. And Bill Gates said, oh yeah, but I'm going to license it to you. For every computer you sell, I sell you a copy in effect just for that computer. And IBM said, oh, okay, this is a new market. Nobody knows about it. So all Bill is a glorified salesperson who is making money off of the invention of that company in Seattle, and IBM not wanting to create its own set of engineers to build the software. And Bill Gates says, okay, great. And IBM PCs take off. And Bill Gates, for every single PC that gets sold, he makes a little bit of money off of that PC. According to Lee the Bearcat, it is his work that earned him that $1 billion. Again, no. It's the work of the engineers and those enthusiastic people who built that software, who built that made him his billion. So he made his billion on the backs of all the people buying the PCs and having to get a copy each time, and the person who invented that in the first place. I'm going to use a teacher now as an example. LBW is in the chat right now. She's a teacher in LB, I think you're middle school or high school. I don't remember which one you are. But she teaches a kid. Like I had a teacher who really gave me a good understanding of physics. Okay? Now, because that teacher was so effective, high school, thank you, young lady, because that teacher was so effective in teaching me physics, both all parts, I was able to do a lot, right? Yeah, I'm a good engineer. LBW has students right now. And I don't know what you teach, LB. Is it English you teach, math? What do you teach? Whatever you teach. One of her students that she had a hell of an impression on, that absent that symbiotic relationship, see English, that symbiotic relationship that she had with that kid becomes a hell of an author. And they write a book. And after they write that book, they make millions of dollars. They sold millions of copies. The genesis of that, the education that allowed that person to make millions from selling the book, came from LBW. She's the one who seeded it. She put into that person's mind. When I was growing up, and my parents said, you can be whatever you want to be. When my parents told me, uh, nobody's better. I mean, they instilled in my mind the directionality that I had to be successful, right? And that's what I'm saying. And LBW want to know where are her royalties. Let me explain why collectivism and capitalism are the direct opposite. Capitalism says the person who is best able to exploit and take advantage of everything all of us did is the one who gains it, who makes the billions from it. Collectivism takes into account that all of us are our brother's keepers. Collectivism takes into account that I am successful because of everything, everybody that I'm encountered with actually played a part in my success. Nobody is an island. My interaction with everybody makes who I am. My interaction with all my teachers, exactly, teachers are amazing. My interaction with my teachers, my interactions with you, even my interaction with Lee the Bearcat, because of what Lee the Bearcat says, I will have a portion of my book, my upcoming book, that references some of the the tenets that Lee the Bearcats put out here in the chat, and that all of you put in the chat. I build upon the general knowledge I get from everybody. But that's not what capitalism teaches. Capitalism teaches that you take whatever you can by hook or by crook, you profit from it, and to hell with those who invented it. Let me give another good example. Oprah Winfrey. Oprah Winfrey is a billionaire, right? And what is her form? What is it that she offers to make these billions? Well, her claim to fame was standing in front of a camera, talking, engaging people, and having the rest of the world see it and like it. And she was the ultimate source of income and wealth from that reality. But how was she able to reach all these people that she reached? Well, there was the inventor of the camera, there was the inventor of the microphone, there was the inventor of digitization of data, there is the inventor of transmission of all those signals to get to people's homes, there is the inventor of the TVs that receive those signals. All of those people play a part in her having $1 billion or several $1 billion. But they get zilch, zero out of it. because under the tenets of capitalism, right, it turns out that the only person that profits from the success and the knowledge that all of us are a part of is that endpoint, the few. And if you take a look at how, as a country, we have been operating, we continuously move all the spoils to the few. And that is what is evil about that economic model. That economic model is evil. That economic model actually deprives people of their worth. It deprives people of what they are really worth. Because again, let's say the Shahid is also not the norm person to get rich in America, but good on. No, no. Again, like I'm telling you, he didn't get rich on his own. The mere fact that you said he has 27,000 employees, that's your answer right there. It's not him. It's his employees that he skims off of everything they make to keep those billions that he has. But again, let me tell you, America, and those of you that are listening to me, we have learned, our minds have been enslaved for a long time, right? We have been we have been taught these lessons of what success really is by the people who benefit from us thinking this way, looking up at those people who are wealthy and think that they have something you don't. And the truth of the matter is they don't. They are just good at playing the capitalism game. There are people who are great artists and they get their joy out of drawing, out of doing something beautiful. And then a capitalist walks in and he says, "Oh my God, that is so beautiful. May I buy it from you? And can you make them for me X amount?" And he goes off and sell it at a huge profit. You know, what is so important is for us to, and actually it would make for a better society as well, right? If at some point in time we could see how dependent we are on each other and that none of us sit on an island. I always say, put a businessman, let's say they're a maroon, a businessman, and a farmer on the same island, and tell each of them they have to survive on their own and go back to that island in a year. I guarantee you, the businessman is dead and the farmer is alive. But here's a kicker. Here is the kicker. In the capitalist world, that farmer is begging that capitalist to give him the instruments to sell his corn, his soybeans, all the things that he is able to do. He's begging that capitalist in this false world. But when it is survival and we throw them on an island, that capitalist couldn't make it without that farmer. Yet that capitalist is worth so much more in this capitalist society than the farmer. Those are the things that we have to change. That's a mindset that we have to change. Because again, we are all enslaved until we look at capitalism for what it really is. You cannot have a free mind. Your mind cannot be free if you think capitalism is a just system. It's impossible. It is a system built on taking advantage of others. Sometimes it's done with a smile, sometimes it is done with fallacies, etc. But that's just the reality. I just gave you three classic examples. I use our teacher in the chat as one example. I use Bill Gates as another example. I use Jeff Bezos as another example. Each of those people, in the case of the teacher, she has been taken advantage of by the system. In the case of Bill Gates, I showed you how he took advantage of the person who actually invented the software. In the case of Bezos, I showed you how he cornered the market and froze people like me out of that market and got rich doing it. And this entire 32-minute soliloquy was done because of one comment made by Lee the Bearcat. But I thought it was a very instructive comment. And I thought, Lee the Bearcat, even if I haven't convinced you with this short narrative, I think you bringing that up is so important. And I will know that some of what I've said got through to you and unenslaved your mind when you stop for 1 second and just think for the things that I've just said and see and understand that a collective is who build things in this country, not an individual, but a collective. That those people that are sitting in the ivory tower create nothing. And when you see that, when you're able to open your mind and see things for what they really are, then we would have gotten somewhere. All right. The gulags. I want to play a piece that I did this morning. And by the way, please, our beautiful Cheryl Elkins is still signing up people for the Coffee with Egberto Zoom. So please remember to sign up. It's on Substack right now. Let me see if I can scroll up and find. I think she had it in the chat. Here we go. I think that's it. It's going to be the 7th. The 6th of March and 9 p.m. Thank you, Cheryl, for keeping this up. Let me put it in the other chat. That is from Cheryl. Sign up, guys, for the Cheryl. Look, Cheryl. First of all, LBW, Cheryl, and many others in the chat have really, really helped out KPFT. They've really supported KPFT, and to make sure that community radio station can stay on air. And one of the things that in the case of Cheryl that she did was to give a solid donation and said what she's going to have is a coffee with Egberto, a Zoom call where we can all sit back and have fun. It's all about fun. It's not about anything to be, it's not arguing. It's about civility and talking to each other. So we want to give Cheryl a big clap. Come on, folks, throw some claps and hearts in that Substack and show some likes on the YouTube and everywhere else. It's about community, as she says. Let's see. Joel says, my Mexican relatives taught me gardening and community. I have been blessed. Everyone should be so blessed. I wish and work to pass forward the gifts given. I am not special, just love empathy. And by the way, Joe is a great contributor as well to both KPFT as well as to Politics Done Right. AVQ says, don't think Substack will see a Twitch comment. No, they don't see a Twitch comment. In fact, Substack still needs to get integrated. They're still building the network on Substack, AVQ. Anyway, before I go to the 11-minute video, does anybody want to call me and say anything? 281-823-7747. I repeat, 281-823-7747. Actually, before I go to the 11-minute video, let me do the MAGA video. Let me set it up. Here it goes. There is a young man who came on to MS Now talking about something interesting. He said, the Republican Party is now the MAGA Party. For those people who are trying to somehow think the Republican Party is going back, it is over. And he come out. This is a MAGA, a guy that used to be MAGA. He came out and he apologized for what he had become with MAGA. He apologized for MAGA because he understood inherently the evil that MAGA represents. I want you to listen to this, and then we'll take it on the other side.
What does the future of the Republican Party look like? It depends a lot on who you're asking in the Never Trump movement. Some are considering a new home in the Democratic Party, so not the Republican Party at all, while others are holding out hope for a return to the old GOP. or at least something like it. The issue is Donald Trump. There's Donald Trump and whatever he says on any given day and what he wants, what he believes, the loyalty he demands. And then there's everybody else who doesn't want to be in support of Donald Trump, so they define themselves against what he supports. Rich, let's talk about your opinion on this, because your position, I believe, is a little bit different than the governor's regarding where the party should go and whether the never-Trumpers like you remain or do something else. What's your argument?
Oh, Katie, it's good to be with you. Thank you for having me. And I would just like to first, for those meeting me, apologize for my past MAGA activism. When I was in the MAGA community, it was a fantasy of ours to kill off the GOP and transform it into a MAGA party. And I think that that has been accomplished and achieved. And I give credit to the Never Trump movement because they saw Donald Trump for who he really was. In my memoir, I go into some of the reasons that I was attracted to the Trump campaign and also some of the reasons why I decided to leave MAGA. And while I don't think I'm quite qualified to give political analysis, something that I would say, and perhaps it's something the governor could relate to, is I think that Republicans and conservatives perhaps have not had their reckoning as to why Donald Trump and MAGA were able to, in such a dominant fashion, seize control of the Republican Party. So as I see our two major parties right now, there is the Democratic Party and then there is the MAGA Party. And as someone who was a Republican in Trump's first administration, I left the party in 2021. I believe that the pre-Trump Republican Party is over, and whether someone who's a Republican should stay in the party or not, that's very much an individual choice. But for me, it was an easy choice to go from Republican to independent, which is how I remain to this day.
And he points out in his memoirs, what brought him to the party and pretty much why he left. And that is so true. Again, the MAGA folks are going, the thinking MAGA folks in the long run are going to come home. When I say come home, I mean they will leave MAGA because eventually it eats them all, because there's no soul, there's no honor. It is just about regression. And that one cannot exist in that state forever. So folks, give it some time and keep engaging these people. Eventually, they'll see the light and the country will be better for it, and would have been better that some would have learned their lessons. Okay, I want to play the piece that I did this morning. Actually, it was another soliloquy that, just like Lee the Bearcat made me do this first soliloquy of the afternoon, Jack Van Beber said something about the gulags that made me do this one. So here we go. I want the afternoon audience to hear it. What Jack spoke about, these gulags, these concentration camps and whatever, right? I want you all to think logically, all of you that are listening to me right now, because this is important. Donald Trump and his thugs are going around the country buying up all these warehouses at a profit. I just found out there is one that they got near Bush Intercontinental Airport here in Houston. People have been saying, you don't see those, aren't they building that stuff in Houston? I'm like, no, I don't think so. But there's one of those warehouses close to Intercontinental that I understand is a concentration camp as well. And, just look like a regular warehouse. God knows what's happening on the inside. But I want you all to think about this. Please. There are criminals in our realm. Most of them not immigrants. Most of them are good old Americans that are criminals. More so, in fact, the statistics tells you that more Americans as a percentage are violent criminals, or criminals, period, than the immigrants that come in here. And let me tell you, immigrants that don't have their papers straight, the last thing they want is to be in contact with the government in any fashion, whether they will not be voting illegally because they don't want to be caught. They keep themselves in a manner that they are incognitos. Okay? That's what they want. They want to be away from the government. And Trump and everybody knows that. The question is then, there are criminals in our midst, yeah, there are criminals that came from across the border, but it's not a lot. What Fox News and the others have been able to do is, when one foreigner commits a crime, it's the end of the world and it is so bad, and they plaster that onto everybody else. Let me tell you, if you go I'm from Panama. A lot of Americans live in Panama. You know, you don't hear Panama when recently there was a tranque in the what do you call it? A big traffic jam on the Transísmica in Panama. Okay, and the American guy, he's one of those bullies. He comes out of his car and he's really, really mad. And the tranque, the traffic jam was caused by a protest. And he just got mad and he got out of his car with his gun in his hands, right? And two teachers were, protesting with the signs. And when he took his gun out and popped a cap in each one of them, killed two of them. And, it didn't make huge, big news here in the United States. I found out about it because I read La Prensa, which is a Panamanian newspaper. But imagine if that had happened over here, what they would talk about: the foreigner coming into our land and they're murdering our innocent Americans, etc. Americans are all over the world. A lot of Americans are all over the world. A lot of criminal Americans are all over the world. Who do you think supply all all that big shooting that you had in Mexico a couple of days ago? Who do you think give them the arms that they're using? Where do you think those arms are manufactured, and how do you think they get there? We Americans actually gave it there. Imagine if Mexico started to say those criminal Americans are coming over here and doing that, just like we say about the fentanyl that the Chinese are sending to Mexico to come out here. Suppose we did that. Again, balance and understanding. So, there are a few criminals here, but there are not enough of them to fill up not one of these concentration camps that they're building. There are not enough of these violent criminals from overseas to fill up not one. And we are buying dozens upon dozens of these warehouses to put people up. This is not for criminality. There are two reasons for this. The first is to make money for his court. Think about this. In Georgia, they bought a warehouse. A Russian company, a Russian linen company, bought a warehouse for $29 million. And they sold that warehouse to our government. Remember, Doge was supposed to take out inefficiency and all that kind of stuff? They sold that for $129 million. Wow. They held it for 2 years, sold it for $129 million. Do you think there are kickbacks occurring somewhere? Of course there is. One of the reasons Donald Trump is petrified of a Congress changeover has more to do with the oversight that the Democratic Congress is going to give to Donald Trump and all these monies. Remember, the reason he had his private police with $100 and something billion out of the Great Beautiful Bill, that was $150 something billion. They were telling themselves, yep, that's ours. And how we turn, how the criminals wash their money? They may open a laundry shop or a restaurant that don't make any money, but they pass that money on as they pass the money into this restaurant to clean it. Well, Donald Trump is doing the reverse. The government allocates the money, and then they take it and clean it. But let me tell you now about what these gulags are for. So there are two purposes. I wrote this article, and it came from a piece that I did right here in KPFT, but the title of my article is The Upcoming American Holocaust, Connecting Billionaires, AI, ICE, and Trump concentration camps. I'm going to put that link back in the chat again, because I want you guys to not only read that article, but share that article, because this is a forward looking of the only reason. And I wish more of my people who understand the Holocaust and so forth will get it. Things don't just happen immediately. You kind of ease yourself into it. And we are for what's going to happen when AI, remember I told you, AI does not belong under capitalism at all, because AI is stolen knowledge, right? AI is our composite knowledge. It cannot be, or it should not be owned by a company. It should not be, AI should be a public good, because it is a combined knowledge, executions, and of everything that we've done. But we have allowed our capitalism to capture it. So as we capture AI is darn good. I've used a whole lot of it in prepare. I mean, I look, my one person media operation, and I'm not kidding you, operates like a 5-person place in the past. And that is because of all these tools that I'm capable of using. I could not produce the amount of stuff that I produce absent the help of all these tools. From the time this program starts, we have tools that automatically send it out to different streams. We have tools that say it's a 6 o'clock in morning show. So some of it goes to KPFT. Some of it goes here at 6 o'clock. It says, you better not send that to KPFT because you say obscenities sometimes, etc. And it is magic. Okay. Well, it's not magic really. It is our composite work. Okay. It's our composite work. All of the work that belongs to all of us. And so it should not be owned. But what that also means is that means we are going to have a lot of people without jobs. And all those people without jobs, eventually when people don't have anything to lose, they get mad. And when they get mad, they react. And when they react, chaos is out there. We have to have a place to put those who are willing to react with chaos. And that is what these gulags are being made for. The disruption that the billionaires create with AI. And how are we going to round up all those people that are going to make trouble? That's why we have a force that can go into any state and that doesn't fall under the posse comitatus, meaning it's not military and it's under the control of the federal government. And who is the executive of the federal government? Donald Trump, the president of the United States. So the idea then, when this disruption occurs, this private secret police that you see beating up supposedly the immigrants, but somehow a whole lot of Americans get in there as well. They are going to be the collectors, with unbound collectors of the troublemakers that occur from the crisis that we have in the economic system. I hope folks understand it. It seems like it doesn't have a use right now, but you have to keep them filled. You have to keep those people that are providing the meals, that are providing the sewage, the water, and all these things, the control of all of this. You, the people, are the raw material that keeps all of this going. But anyway, so I hope read that article that I just put in both chats, because you'll see what I'm talking about. I hope I explained it well. If I didn't, the phone is always there. The phone is always there if I don't explain it well enough. Anyway, folks, give me a call. I don't think I have any more material. 281-823-7747, though I can go on and on and on and on. But please give me a call if you want to say a couple of words. 281-823-7747. Y también hablo español, así que me pueden llamar si hablan español nada más en 281-823-7747. Una vez más lo voy a repetir, 281-823-7747. All right. So, let's see. Now, Brother AQ says AI will displace half the workforce within the next 5 years. We are completely unprepared for the mass unemployment, desperation, and social unrest that will follow. And that's the reason for the gulags, Mr. Rudnan. All right. Let's see what else I hear. Faravid, going up. Egberto, red hats don't learn SHIT until they are personally punished, whether by society shunning them or by their own party's action against them. Farmers, tariffs, and ICE being a top example. That is very true. That is very true. All right, let's see. Who's calling me? Hello, how are you doing today?
Hello there, Professor Willis. This is Brother Harry Denson.
This is Brother Harry Denson from Missouri City,
yes.
Texas. How you
Missouri
doing,
City,
sir?
Texas. Well,
yes, talk to me.
I sent you a whole bunch of stuff in. I sent you a whole bunch of stuff in the chat today. I don't know if you read it.
Oh man,
one of the things I'm gonna.
Go ahead.
Yeah, one of the things I'm gonna. Well, first of all, I want to say that you did explain it right, and I'll spend about a minute on that. This stuff with the concentration camps. Now, people who are biblically inclined, people like Moses, who calls in the morning, my friend in California, when I talk to them about this sort of thing, they talk about how Trump is a new Mason, and he is the Antichrist, and he puts these they're putting these concentration camps in, as you pointed out, get it on the head. They're going to make money off this with AI taking a lot of people's jobs away, and then they'll invest in it. And it's just it's part of this new world order that they talk about biblically. Now, the other things I wanted to mention was the State of the Union. Maybe we might have another Al Green moment tonight. And then one other thing I was going to mention is that I put in the chat. You know, the late, great Sam Cooke.
Yes.
The song Change is Going to Come, because you told us yesterday. Yes. I was wondering, I don't know if you're not going to have time to play it today, but I was wondering if you could play it on the morning show, the video, and your afternoon show, because that video, Change is Going to Come, it talks about the struggles we had in the 60s. They show videos. Of course, they show JF, well, not in that one. That's another one I'm thinking of. But they show Lyndon Baines Johnson, the things he did. They show in that video, in one of the videos, because there's several videos of that song, and they have women's rights, women struggling for their rights, civil rights, and that's relevant to today and the Vietnam War protest. And so, what I was wondering, if you play that song, if you play that song, it makes people think, it motivates them to come out and vote.
I can play it on K50, but I can't play it on. Believe it or not, I can't play it on YouTube. I don't think it's in the list of songs. You know what? I'm going to look it up and see if YouTube would allow it, because let me tell you something. I would love, right?
Go ahead.
I would love to be able. Maybe I could get some rights for it. I'd love to start the show with something like that.
Yeah.
I actually like your idea that because it fits the time right now, Harry. It actually fits the time. The change is gonna come.
That's right.
You know?
And
you're so right about that.
Yeah, and two others. Yeah, there's two other songs. The late great Marvin Gaye talks about two of the songs he did. What's Going On and Make Me Want to Holler. Now, the Make Me Want to Holler video, it has JFK. It has in that video, it has Malcolm X and Dr. King. But Marvin Gaye made some good points, because in that song, Make Me Want to Holler, he's talking about you can't pay your taxes, and he's talking about capitalism in there, touching on that. That and what's going on, that makes people think. And it shows Nixon and protests in the Vietnam War, and it's relevant today because it'll make people think and say, look, we got to get this country on the right track.
Harry, let me go to Tom Zarnik now, okay? Tom is on the line, and we got to talk to Tom. All right, brother Tom, talk to me.
Okay, I don't have a poem for you yet. I'm working on one, but speaking of songs, the one I keep coming back to is "Eve of Destruction." It's not a very positive song, but
that was in the Vietnam War, right?
Yes, and there's a lot of things in there because it talks a lot about.
Yeah, we had it in Spanish. We had it in Spanish. Es que es el de la destrucción. Mírame.
Yeah, right.
Vamos. Oh, we actually had that song in Spanish, but when I was back in Panama, man, that is amazing.
Yeah, I think that would be a good one to talk about because the lyrics are really interesting and they're still relevant today. And
yes, it is.
Especially because it talks about hypocrisy. But the other thing is somebody mentioned about at the early part of your show, I think it was Lee the Bearcat said something about exceptionalism. And my response to that is the United States or America is exceptional. It can be exceptionally good and exceptionally bad. It's up to us. So,
right.
That's what I think about when somebody says, do you think the U.S. is exceptional? Yeah, it is. It can be either way, though.
Yeah, but the thing about it, whenever we start talking about exceptionalism, I always say, remember, we are 4.5% of the population. And there's a lot of good that came from all over the place. These are dangerous, in my opinion, at least. These are sort of dangerous rhetoric that takes away from the rest of the world. And, it actually allows Trump to do what he's doing. He only can decide that he wants to go into think about it. And tell me what you think about this, Tom. I'm going to go over by a minute or so. Think about this. Okay. When we talk about Greenland, right? For the United States to say, we want Greenland, we're going to take it at all costs because we need it for our security. I mean, do you understand what that says? That says that if for some reason you need France to build something to prevent an ICBM from coming to the United States, you should take France? Or you're telling, it is the and that mentality comes from saying we're exceptional, right? If we are the exceptional ones, we can do as we please. I think there's some humility that we need to start working on, to be honest with you. But hey, anyway, we're past 4 o'clock. Yep. So thank you for calling in, brother.
Thanks.
Thank you. Have peace, man.
Okay.
Anyway, folks, we got to get out of here, right? But I want to ask you I ask at the end of the show every time to please become, if you have the wherewithal to do so, please become paid subscribers of Politics Done Right. We cannot do what we're doing without you. And in case Dr. Lulov is listening on the back end or later on a podcast, I want to say that he was a very good contributor to Politics Done Right today. I want to give him a very, very big thank you. We need a lot more folks contributing and being a part of it. Please become a paid subscriber by going to politicsdoneright.com/newsletter. It's inexpensive. It's a coffee. If we can get a lot of people doing that, same thing I say in the morning to support KPFT. This one here is to support Politics Done Right. When I do it in the morning, it's to support KPFT, only KPFT. If we can just do that, it's an inexpensive way to support this project. We can really get a lot done. Anyway, love you all. You can email me at info@politicsdoneright.com. Oh, let me put Cheryl Elkins' link again in the chat because I want. Cheryl is doing a whole lot of setup for us. I love you for that, Cheryl. Here is the link that Cheryl has placed, and I'm putting it in the other chat. Okay. Love you all. You can email me directly at info@politicsdoneright.com. My name is Egberto Willis. This is Politics Done Right. And you guys know how I end this baby. But I got to do one thing before. Please consider becoming a paid subscriber. My name is Egberto Willis. This is Politics Done Right. And you guys know how I end this baby. I am what? Out! Welcome to Politics Done Right. I am your host, Egberto Willies. This is a progressive program that will take the mystery out of politics. This is the program that will encourage you to make sure government becomes we the people. Whether you are liberal, progressive, conservative, or otherwise, you get to air your point of view. We are an independent media outlet that, unlike mainstream media beholden to corporations, we only owe allegiance to you. Remember, you can also send me a tweet at EGBERTOWILLIES. That is at Egberto Willies. Let us engage. It is Politics Done Right. Welcome to Politics Done Right.